On the broadcast this evening, the shocking headlines emerging from Kerala's Kollam district, where female aspirants for the NEET exam were asked to take off their bra and their innerwear before being allowed to sit for the examination. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. This is our big focus on the program today. Young women, many of them under the age of 18, coming forward to talk about the trauma and the ordeal that they went through in Kollam when they turned up to sit for the NEET entrance exam. Protests have now erupted across the district as the parents of these young women have also come forward. 5 arrests have already been made. Initially, the NTA and its officials said that the complaints of the young women were fictitious. All of this happened because as the girls or young women rather were being screened at the metal detector, there was a beep, possibly because their innerwear had an underwire. However, this was no way to deal with these young women, many of them no older than 17 years old. Woman after woman has now come forward, and in fact, one of the complaints says that 90% of the female aspirants were made to take off their innerwear, their underclothings, and put them in a storeroom before being asked to sit for this exam, where there were also men present. How did this happen? How did this happen, and why is it happening in the India of 2022? That is our focus today, and let us introduce our guests on the program today. We're joined by Dr. Ranjana Kumari, who's of course one of our well-known activists. Also joining us on the program today is one of the young aspirants who went through this nightmare. She is, of course, we are withholding her name to protect her identity. And as you can see, she already has a mask on as well. She will be sharing a first person testimony of what she went through. And also joining us shortly will be former Director General of Police, Vikram Singh. Let me start with you. And I'm just going to go straight to the NEET aspirant. Can you tell us exactly what happened? Why did you and others like yourself, why were you asked to remove your bras? What happened?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, first of all, me and my mother reached the exam center at 12 p.m. noon. Exam coordinators were standing in main gate, and firstly they said to me to carry only my admit card, ID card, and one photograph with me. Then they said me to remove the mask I wore and given another one. After I entering the college, firstly they verified my admit card with my ID card, and they said me after the verification process they said me to stand in a queue where the frisking was going on, and the frisking was going separate for boys and girls on the both side of a staircase, both side of the staircase separately. uh, After I standing in the queue, one of the ladies standing there came to me and asked whether my innerwear had a hook or not, and if hook is present, then I had to remove my bra and keep it in a room. When I entered that room, they shown 6 to 7 girl candidates are already there, started disappointed, and then I removed my innerwear, and there was only a table only. They kept only a table there, and I kept my innerwear there. And they said after only the examination, I am able to take it back.
When this happened, did you try and argue with the officials who asked you and other girls to take off their bras?
No, they said all exam centers is like this.
They said everybody had to do it.
Everyone had to do it, and asked us to ask it whether my innerwears had hook or not, metal hook or not.
So they told you that all of this was for a bra hook.
Yes,
Tell me, how did you feel? Can I ask you how old you are, my dear?
and 18 years.
You're 18 years old. When
Yes,
this happened, what did you feel?
very much disappointed.
Very much disappointed. Did you also
Uh,
feel, self-conscious, uncomfortable,
yes,
violated?
yes, ma'am. While writing the examination, also we are not comfortable.
Hmm. And
Mm,
all this was for a hook of a bra
Yes.
Did it beep when you were going through the metal detector? Is that what happened?
And sound, there were three ladies standing with metal detector and just shown to my body, and sound. They heard the sound like sound. Then they said to remove my innerwear.
Yeah. And they made you take off your bra or all your innerwear?
Take off my bra only.
Your bra. And did this happen to all of the women who were sitting for the
All
exam?
almost all the girl candidates presented there.
Hmm. This is just, I mean, I don't know what word to use, Ranjana. It's idiotic, it is violative, it is traumatic. These are young women who are already traumatized. They're taking one of the toughest exams of their life, and they're being told your bra has a hook, so you have to remove your bra. What else will a bra have if it doesn't have a hook? Ranjana, your thoughts?
Well, this is really obnoxious. I mean, one cannot even imagine how much, they have not only violated the dignity of these girls, but also how much they confuse them at a time when they are entering an exam room. And what has got to do any safety, security, anything has got to do with this hook of a bra. And also, even if there is wire, now everybody knows that women wear bras which have wire in it. And this is not something. Look, when we cross the airports and you are really scanned well and everything, so much caution has been exercised. There also, they don't make you take off your bra and try to see whether it is. Everybody knows there is hook. Hooks are made of metal, and they will make a sound, beep sound. Everybody, I don't understand how it was really a threat to the security. Number one, it has happened last year also. Last year, we all made a lot of noise about it. I do not know
But
why.
that makes it even worse. So this has happened before, and despite that, this has happened again. There could have just been a better awareness around this, a better preparation for it, Ranjana.
Preparation, and also if they want, they can have a full scanner there. Why don't they put a full scanner? I mean, there are technologies available. You don't have to make girls go through all this. Number one, first of all, this is very insulting. Number two, at that age, girls are very conscious because they are made conscious of their body, especially their breasts. They are made very, very conscious of it. And then to sit down and give an exam when invigilators are, the men are looking at their bodies. Some girls have also reported that. Now, how do you really expect them to concentrate on their exam? How do they expect them to know? They prepare so much for this exam. They
Yeah.
are, this is for life making, life breaking kind of exam. Children take it as, and look at the way they have been just for hook of a bra. I mean, people really, this is, I do not know whether to call it the most obnoxious experience, whether to call it is really, stupidity of the security personnel, or to call them that they are arrogant or they are ignorant. I do not know, but this is totally unacceptable. And people last year were not fined or not really given any punishment for what they did. Last time when it happened in Kerala only, as far as I completely remember it. So why, if nothing happened, then certainly they've repeated the same kind of a thing, and they will
Shocking,
do it again
shocking.
next year. So either you improve your technology of scanning and for security, or you make them aware and make them
And
sensitized
that's
about
the
what is
and
this.
that's what I want to ask Mr. Vikram Singh in a second. But just to go back to our young female aspirant, can you describe how this impacted you when you were taking the exam? The thought that you had been made to take your bra off along with other girls, that this innerwear was kept in some storeroom. You had to sit there for 3 hours. There were male invigilators. There were also fellow boys taking the exam. What was going through your head? Were you able to focus on the exam?
Ma'am, in my exam hall, there were boy candidates also. There was two invigilators in my hall, one male and one female. And my seat was in the middle first bench, and I was so disturbed to write the exam comfortably. Very much disappointed, and always thinking about is gen staffs or any boys is looking at us or staring.
Hmm. What is the word you'd use, my dear, to describe your feeling? What is the word? You've said disappointed. Were you angry? Were you upset? Were you nervous? Were you uncomfortable?
Very much uncomfortable and very much uncomfortable and disappointed on this
Yeah.
humiliation.
Yes, you felt humiliated. Mr.
Yes.
Vikram Singh, We have all gone through scanners at airports and to public events wearing our bras. These young girls were told it's a hook of a bra that beeped at the metal detector, so please take them off. Have you ever encountered something like this, sir?
Never. And maybe I do hope even upon my dead body. This is something so absurd and outrageous. I have never heard anything as absurd as that. And Kerala seems to be a repeat offender, a serial offender. The technology takes it that we can detect even the smallest level of metal. But to expect the girl, to the first question, technology allows us to do it. Number two, it was just not required. The size of a microphone which they were trying to be on the lookout for does not require this level of searching the needle in the proverbial haystack.
Yeah.
Second, do you think the child by any chance would be in a fit mental and physical state to write the examination? Let me tell you, the child is diminished by at least 40% and her future prospects are finished. Finished with a capital F. She has no chance to write on a fair and on a level platform. The child is going through an emotional trauma, as all of us can see it, what she's going through even now. And what would be the mental framework of the child when she was writing the examination? It's cruel, insensitive, inhuman to say the least, Barkhaji.
And I thank you for those strong words and for understanding what these young girls. I have to say young women, but for us, they're just girls. They're children, as you said.
Girls, yes.
And I have to ask you, sir, can there be even a remote justification? You see, what is going to be the justification? The justification is going to be that as they went through the metal scanner, there was a beep. Now, anyone, you know this in security, they're even telling the girls that we know it's your bra. It's not like they think that they're carrying something hidden. They're saying it's the bra, which means they know it's the bra, which means that they know that there is no danger or security threat.
Barkha, you and I have been through the CISF checks in the airports dozens and dozens of times. And I'm carrying my spectacles and the beep goes on and I just say, this is the spec and the matter ends. And if the child were to disclose that this is the reason for the beep, I think the matter ends there. The physical evaluation and the evaluation takes care of us of all the use and misuse of unfair means. Do you think for a moment that we had to subject our children to this level of depravity, insensitivity? And even now, the government in Kerala is writing and sending off letters. What they have not done, I really don't know. They should have registered a case and sent the entire team behind bars. And all those people who are behind this gory incident should have been behind bars by now, and also invoking the provisions of the National Security Act for impacting the public order adversely. I know this has
You're
been,
being that strong. You're saying National Security Act should be
yes,
imposed here. Why do you say
yes,
that?
because public,
Why do you say that?
I say that because Barkha, you and I and Dr. Ranjana Kumari ji are discussing this. Of course, we are anguished. We are incensed. We are hurt deeply, and that is why public order has been vitiated. That is why. Since the repeat and serial offenders were not punished on the earlier occasion, there should be consequences now. Let it be a lesson to everybody in the country. We cannot fool around and play around with our children like this. This is not a boys' club. We can behave the way we want to.
Thank you for saying that. Ranjana, if you want to add to that, and then I'll go back to our young female aspirant.
We do have a law, Barkha, and I think Vikram Singh ji will agree with me that there's outraging the modesty of a woman. We have a law. And what do you do when publicly you say your bra has hook and you ask them to take it out and put it on a desk table? Do you want your bra to be open? So much hoo-ha they do when they see women in bikini at the beach. So much of noise has been made about exposing your body, this, that, and the other. They have to take off their shirt, they have to take off their bra, then only all that just before going to give an exam. I mean, is this the way? So I think there are laws in the country. Again, which should be this time at least these people should be charged. And I'm sure. I mean, I'm totally agree that I'm totally upset about the whole thing. We are discussing this issue. So why not? When you hurt the people's sentiment, then there is a law imposed immediately on a journalist or somebody who's written a piece or maybe a tweet. Just 120 words, then the law is imposed. But what about this? This is hundreds. I don't know how many students were at that center have been made to go through this whole agonizing experience of insult, injury. I would say this is very insulting. This is very insulting for a woman to say that take off your undergarments. I mean, what is this? What kind of a society are we? This duality, that one side you are all the time blaming women to become very bold, they are showing off, they are showing their body, and on the other side, young teenage students, I mean, like they're 18, 19, 20-year-old girls asked to take off their clothes, take off their bras because of who we now this whole thing is that there are technologies. There is technology at the airport. Nobody tells you to do any of the. Not only in India, people who are much more strict about that,
So,
to take off your
so
belt or watch, whatever. Nobody says take off your bra. I mean, what is this?
that's the point. There was
How
no
can you tolerate
ambiguity,
such a thing?
and there was no ambiguity over what it was. Mr. Singh held up his glasses and said that, when he goes through a CISF scanner, this person scanning you will say, "Are you carrying something?" And you'll say, "No, it's probably this or probably this." So this is why I want to go back to the young woman with us who went through this. Did you girls try and argue? Did you try and reason? Did you try and explain, or were you too nervous to do that right before an exam?
I said them too that it was the part of that the metal piece is a part of my undergarment. They said it must be removed.
And were you given where did you have to go to remove it? Did you have to go to a bathroom? Where did you have to go to remove it?
Just a room under the staircase.
So you had to go to a room under the staircase as if you are criminals and go there and remove this. And did you all, I mean, I can't even imagine. Do you feel that you were able to give your best performance in this exam?
No, ma'am. No.
Would you like to take the exam again?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to.
Is that what a lot of your friends are feeling?
Yes, ma'am. I think all the girl candidates presented in that college must like.
Tell me, as a young woman, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you decide to take the NEET exam? What does your family do? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ma'am,
Don't tell us your name because we're protecting your identity, but tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm my school. I completed my high secondary in this March, and now I am planning to repeat my NEET exam, 1 year
And
coaching,
what do your
and my
parents do? What does your family
uh,
do?
my father is a driver and my mother is a panchayat member, and I have one sister.
Your father's a driver and your mother's a panchayat member. Now tell me, as a young woman, what do you want to say to those who did this to women like you?
Those who supported and committed this must be punished.
Must must be punished. Yes. 5 arrests have been made, Ranjana. Three of those officers are women. Officials are women. This is the tragedy.
Well, Barkha, when they are ordered to do it, they will do it. That's the hierarchy about, this whole order has to be followed in the police department. And I'm sure Vikram Singh ji will agree with me. If they were given this order, they will ask them to follow it. But I think you raised a very important issue. These girls and have been disturbed, they have been emotionally tormented, and they could not perform well in their exam, and you can see one student telling that. So you raised a very important issue, that they should be given an opportunity. Not only that the people who did this should be punished, but they should be given an opportunity to give the exam again. There is no, this is not fair at all. This is not fair at all, that just before you are entering something where you have to concentrate, you have to really be 100%, and you have been disturbed like this, then you must get an opportunity to repeat it. And I think I would totally support that idea, that Kerala government should reorganize it, and they should give them one more opportunity to go through this exam. Because imagine, I mean, someone like her, there'll be many who are coming from such backgrounds which are not really affluent, which are not really who can afford to do things again, do the class, study for one more year and then appear next year, take the chance. Is better that they should given a chance. This is a mistake of the state, and they better amend it. They better first punish the people and also give these children a chance to give exam again.
Now, I want to ask you, my dear, to our young female aspirant, how did you all decide to mobilize and actually raise this with the police? Because, as Ranjana said, this has happened before and no heads rolled then. How did you all decide that we are going to come together and we are going to fight for justice, for our dignity here?
Then because they do this uh, they did this to very young girl candidates, and there is no other centers did this much of strict actions. Only in this college.
Yeah. And initially they tried to also say that you all were lying. You know, the first reaction when the first complaint was made, they said this is all jhoot, this is all lies. So do you know all the other girls, or have you got to know them through this fight?
No, ma'am, we don't know each other because we all are from different places.
Okay. So tell me, at this point, five arrests have been made. Five arrests have been made, my dear. What do you think? What should be the punishment?
Maybe they were remanded. I don't know about that, ma'am.
What is your dream for yourself, my dear? What do you
My
want
dream
to?
is
Yeah.
my dream is to be first I want to become a doctor and then I want to be a civil servant.
You want to be a doctor and a civil servant. Well, these are the dreams of young women, Ranjana, and they, as you said, they're battling so many odds already, which is why this feels so unforgivable. Mr. Singh is unfortunately on a weak connection. There he is. Can I get a quick last word from you before we lose you again? Five arrests have been made. But should more heads roll as well? And whose heads? Because the Kerala government is blaming the central agency. They're saying we didn't, these were not our officers. Everybody will blame everybody else. What do you think should happen, Mr. Singh?
Barkha, this is an administrative tragedy, and everybody should own up to the massive administrative blunder that has happened. The Kerala government, instead of writing letters, should come down heavily like a ton of bricks on every person who's complicit and who's even remotely connected with this sordid affair. And I would say an exemplary and a historic action needs to be taken today, because the trauma that these children have gone through, trauma will be there for a lifetime. The least we can do to atone for our sins is to give exemplary punishment and blacklist those people and the firms that were part of this nonsensical exercise of frisking.
Thank you for saying that, sir. I'll close with that thought. I keep thinking of young women like the one on our program being sent to a room under the staircase to remove their innerwear before sitting for one of the toughest exams of their lives. It's another illustration of how, women have to go through what men simply don't. I have one question to our young aspirant. No boy was wearing a belt or something that beeped? How did this happen only to the girls, my dear?
I don't know, ma'am. The scheme for boys and girls were separated in the both side of the staircase, and there were in boys' side there were three persons standing with the metal detector.
You did not have a metal detector?
Yes, ma'am. There were three ladies standing there with a metal detector, and
I see.
for boys there were males are there.
Got it. So, Ranjana, does it now strike you? I mean, Mr. Singh held up his glasses to say that they beep when he goes through a scanner. You mean men were wearing nothing that was metallic or that could have beeped? I mean, men
Yeah,
mean boys.
that's shocking. That's shocking that how come that they isolated girls only for bra hook. I mean,
Yeah.
and also boys are wearing belt. They are wearing maybe shoes where they can hide something in the shoes. I think there is guideline given to the students as well as to the investigators who are already there. The investigators who are there. But then why? How come that the boys were just let go? They were scot free. They didn't have anything to get tested for, and girls for such a minor this thing they were really detected, and then they were asked to go through this
Yeah.
kind of a humiliating experience. It's insulting, it's humiliating. It's in being a woman you have to know so many kinds of insults in life that you go through, and this is to top it all, that you just are going to give an
Awful.
exam, and then you say, okay, take off your bra because the bra there is a hook in your bra which is beeping. I've never heard of such a thing anywhere,
Yeah.
globally, nationally, anywhere. It is Kerala. Last time it happened, again they better not blame anybody. But I have to say one more thing, that please don't just end it by arresting those 5 people who are at the spot. Somebody must have given this order. Who gave this order? Must be somebody who's at the higher up. So why do you every time something happens, somebody at the lower level gets punished or transferred or whatever, but nobody at the higher level whose brainchild such an idea is gets
Yeah.
punished for it. So do it this time.
Yeah. Mr. Singh, Ranjana and our young lady here want the opportunity for the girls who went through this to take the exam again. They feel that they were not able to focus and they were not comfortable. Do you think that that is something we should push for now? Mr. Singh?
Absolutely. There's merit in what you are saying, because what they had. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, there is merit in what you are saying. There is merit in what you are saying. The children were subjected to an inequality of the worst kind, and the least that the system can do is to give them a second chance. Whereas I have my reservations whether they would be equal to come to terms with themselves and the trauma that they had to go through. Again, they will be reminded of the indignity and the unfair treatment that was meted out to them. And I really feel sorry for them. And as a parent, I would say, just forget the past, do whatever you can possibly. But again, going to writing the same examination will bring back the horrific memories. But yes, they need to be given a second chance.
Well, thank you very much, Ranjana Kumari and Vikram Singh, for your strong words, and to our young friend who has been courageous enough to come forward and speak about what she went through. More power to you. May all your dreams to become a doctor or a civil servant come true. This is an early and much too early lesson for you for what women have to go through in their lives. Let us not mince our words. This is sexual harassment of the worst kind. This is nothing else. In a young woman, 17, 18-year-old, asked to take her bra before sitting for an exam, as Mr. Vikram Singh and Dr. Ranjana Kumari said, it is nonsensical, it is idiotic, it is abusive, it is violative, and heads must roll. Thank you very much to all of you, in particular to our young friend. All the best to you. Thank you very much. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.